based upon him.
Taxi associations in the corporate area say they are in agreement with the announcement by the government that they'll be freeing up access to 23 routes in the Kingston Metropolitan Transport Region so that they can authentically ply their wares on this route. The opposition had something to say, saying it didn't think it was the best move by the government, but the taxi association seemed to be siding with the government in this decision. We'll hear from the opposition spokesman on transport, Michael Phillips, if he has refined his perspective on this move, and of course what he thinks about a comprehensive transport policy to help all stakeholders in the corporate area and outside. It's Holy Thursday. Yesterday was Spy Wednesday. Tomorrow is Good Friday, and Holy Week climaxes on Saturday. Wishing you all the best from the staff and the team here at Lead Story. Let's start the show. Never a bad time to talk about transport in Jamaica, and it's as good a time as any on this Holy Thursday, what with the announcement by the government that it will allow taxi operators to ply their wares legitimately on 23 routes in the Kingston Metropolitan Transport Region. Daryl Vaz making the announcement, the Minister of Transport. The opposition had something to say, but then the taxi operators came out, a coalition of them, to say that they agree with the government in this regard. In case you missed it, what really is the issue at hand, and how does that set up the discussion we're set to have moments from now?
Transport Minister Daryl Vaz has firmly rejected claims made by opposition spokesman on transport Michael Phillips that the government has abandoned 23 routes under the Jamaican Urban Transit Company in violation of the company's exclusive license under the Public Passenger Transport Act or the Kingston Metropolitan Transport Region Act. Phillips raised concerns on Friday, urging that the government's actions amount to a breach of the JUTC's legal authority to operate public transport services within the Kingston Metropolitan Region, the KMTR. According to him, the discontinuation of these routes raises concerns about the consistency of JUTC's operations and may leave commuters with fewer reliable transport options. In response, Vaz explained that to supplement JUTC's services, particularly during off-peak hours, the company has, based on recommendations from the Transport Authority, issued, quote, no objection confirmations, permitting a limited amount of route taxis to operate along those routes. President and Director of the One Love Taxi Association, Lorraine Finnegan, in a statement on Saturday, shared that taxi operators within the KMTR welcome the move by the government. The back and forth comes amid concerns about the state of public transportation in the capital and its surrounding areas, with commuters often facing long wait times and overcrowded buses. We discuss on Lead Story. Courtney Lewis for Lead Story.
Thank you very much, Courtney. After the break, Michael Phillips, Lorraine Finnegan.
Every child deserves a home filled with love. When hope meets heart, a new journey begins.
Welcome home, David.
Welcome, David. Make it your own.
Family is built on moments shared.
Go, David, yes!
Every smile and every shared moment connects us with a brighter future. Here, you're not just welcomed, you're family. Foster hope, Foster love. Foster a child today. Contact the CPFSA for more information.
Gentle Holy Road people, the last episode of season 2.
And we have special surprises in store.
This is where everything ignited. There's so much memories. I can almost tell you what happened on each seat.
Yeah.
Fell asleep on the one day in front of the preacher.
This is gonna be funny. This is gonna be amazing.
In the bad?
And nobody in our road.
He had that impact upon his life, and I believe it was just an anointing that was placed upon him.
Welcome back to Lead Story on this Holy Thursday. The thing about transport is that from my perspective, stakeholders aren't being adversarial. So it's not being adversarial for adversarial's sake. It's just that people want the best for the sector and they have differing views on how the approaches that are necessary to make the sector run efficiently and do justice to all stakeholders. They have differing opinions on how those imperatives should be pursued. And that's how I read what has happened between the minister and his opposition shadow in this area. But why speak for Michael Phillips when he's here to speak for himself? He's the Member of Parliament for North West Manchester and the opposition spokesman on transport. Good evening, Michael, on this Holy Thursday. I hope I find you well, my friend.
I'm well. Good evening to you and all your viewers. Good evening, Mr. Finnegan.
Lorraine Finnegan, are you there?
Good afternoon, Sir Phillips.
Good,
I'm
good,
here,
good.
but my Zoom
That's fine. As long as we can hear you, we can crack on.
going in and out.
That's fine. That's fine. All right. Michael Phillips, let me start with you. Daryl Vaz made an announcement. You issued a statement reacting to what was said. Daryl Vaz provided further clarity. The taxi groups, some of them in the corporate area, have said, well, they agree with the government's position to open up those 23 routes so that taxis can operate legitimately. Now that we are here at this point in the discussion, are you sticking to your original comments, or with the clarity you have come to a different position?
Well, I'm not sure of if I can trust the clarity that the minister has presented. In his press conference on the 10th of April, he spoke about that the Transport Authority and the JUTC have finalized a conversion of 11 JUTC routes to route taxi routes, and in essence adding some additional, which brings it about to the 23 that was mentioned. You know, the formation of the JUTC came at great sacrifice. We believe that the JUTC should remain as a growing concern, and we believe that there's room for all the operators within the sector to be a part of a comprehensive transport system, not only in the KMTR, but island-wide. The minister then followed up by saying that the JUTC will still be operating on those routes that he's now offering as route taxi routes. You know, there are many other questions that the minister has to answer. And in a sense, we have always asked, what is a national plan? Because we see bits and pieces of something being presented, but we're not sure how all of them are coming together to create that national plan that is needed for the transport sector. Because while the minister has opened up these routes for route taxis, he's still at the same time opening up offering license to hackney carriage operators in the same KMTR. These route taxi licenses were offered from sometime in January and have not been able to be taken up because there is not adequate parking for these route taxis. So there are many other issues that we have concerns for, but also that the JUTC has an exclusive license in this instance. Yes, the minister mentioned, and it has happened from the existence of the JUTC, where they have issued franchise license to private operators to operate on JUTC routes. In this instance, the JUTC has handed over these routes to the Transport Authority, and the Transport Authority then issuing license for these routes. So, there's some clarity needs to be given to the direction that the minister wants to go. And we believe, meaning the PMP believes, that there's space for private operators like Mr. Finnegan and others in the KMTR to be a part of a comprehensive system with the JUTC and themselves operating in the same space.
But let me ask you, in the same way that you correctly say that there needs to be an articulation of a national plan, I'm agreeing with you on that. You would agree, though, that part of the original concern you raised about the opening up of the routes and that being a breach of the JUTC's license, that sacrosanct position the JUTC held was in breach by virtue of the announcement. Are you now comfortable with the clarification from the minister that that is not in play?
No, because, the JUTC has been in breach of its own, of the license provided by it. And I've said on multiple that if it operators like Mr. Finnegan and others who have invested their money, who has breached a license that has been given to them by the government, though that the JUTC is owned by the government, they would have been held to book. And, the JUTC is to provide, I think, approximately 35,000 seats on a daily basis in the KMTR. And they're providing, I would imagine, just above 10,000 seats right now. And while the minister is also converting these routes to route taxis, he's purchasing buses. The JUTC operating at half of its optimization now, and still having a full staff complement. The JUTC is still making $10 billion loss annually with a $10 billion subsidy from the taxpayers. So hence why we asked the government and the minister, what is the overall plan for the JUTC?
But stick up in spokesman, because here's the thing again, and one thing you said there, we were waiting to reconnect with Lorraine Finnegan. I understand we lost this connection, but here's the thing again. When you say the JUTC is adding new buses, I want you to clarify your position on the addition of new buses, because I don't want my viewers to leave believing that you are opposed to the acquisition of new buses, especially...
No, we're not.
Let me finish the point, and you can respond. I don't want them to have that belief, especially when in the past you have criticized the government for not being able to give the commuters in the KMTR a certainty of being able to get transportation because there aren't buses on the road. So what's your position with the acquisition of new buses are concerned?
No. We clearly support the acquisition of new buses. The government took 8 years before they start purchasing any buses. Even after purchasing 175 buses last year, the fleet of the JUTC has not increased at all, because they had to retire the buses that were there. But while the minister is not providing enough seats that is required in the Kingston Metropolitan Transport area, he has started a rural bus system, taking away buses from the current fleet of the JUTC, which has a license to operate within the KMTR. We are for the rural bus system. I mean, I spoke about it about 4 years ago in my own sectoral presentation.
Yes.
But we want to hear what is the overall plan instead of these knee-jerk reactions that the ministers have brought to as policy towards public transport.
Yeah, you want a comprehensive plan, so to us. All right, Lorraine Finnegan is back with us, but we're up on the break, so let's take the break, and then after the break we'll hear from Lorraine Finnegan, his reaction to this move to allow taxis to legitimately operate on 23 routes in the KMTR. This is Lead Story on this Holy Thursday.
Join my private room. Only $1,000 for a grand time.
That I know me. We never said that. But who going to believe me?
That is correct. $4,350,000. Yes, go ahead. $4 million? I never approved that.
Yes, me I go doctor tomorrow. So me have to get the money today, no longer. Then no me face that. We never make no record or beg nobody no money.
Deepfakes are AI-generated images and videos made to look and sound like people we know and trust. They're used to spread misinformation, destroy reputations, and are used to commit fraud and scams. Don't fall victim to deepfakes. Protect yourself. For more information, visit broadcastingcommission.org or scan the QR code on screen.
Hey Paint and Play family, join us for Paint and Play's Easter egg hunt on Sunday, April 20 at Artisan Village, Falmouth. Enjoy canvas painting, fun family activities, unlimited bouncy house fun, and the ultimate Easter egg hunt. Don't miss out. Call 876-310-5159 or visit paintandplay.com to register today. See you at Paint and Play.
Talking about the situation concerning transport in the Kingston Metropolitan Transport Region, consequent upon an announcement by the Transport Minister that 23 routes, which were the preserve of the JUTC, have now been opened up to taxi operators, taxi groups in the corporate area welcoming the move. The opposition taking issue with aspects of that announcement, wanting more particulars from the Transport Minister. I'm turning now to Lorraine Finnegan. He represents a coalition of taxi operators in the corporate area. He has issued a statement already, Finnegan and his group, to say that they welcome this announcement by the minister. That was based on the initial announcement. The minister has added more information to his original announcement, and the opposition have weighed in. So I want to ask Lorraine Finnegan now if the position of the taxi operators regarding the announcement by the government remains the same.
Yeah, our position remains the same. We welcome the move by the government. And we welcome it more so because this has been over 25 years in the making. The presidents that we still have been championing the cause over 25, 30 years. The information I have from them is that they have passed through both administrations, several Minister of Transportation making recommendation and submission for these routes to make available to the operators. I joined in 2022, and since 2022, I made my submission to Minister Shaw. We would have several meetings with him. After he demitted office, we attended a meeting with the present Managing Director of Transport Authority. And then when the new minister came, we intensified the discussion. And I have been an integral part of those discussions between 2023 and now. And when we make the submission, we make it along the line at first that we were requesting to be allowed to operate on the routes that were either not being serviced by JUTC or being under-serviced by JUTC, or the routes that JUTC have an unacceptable turnaround time. Turnaround time is in the sense where the time it takes from the terminal point to the other terminal point and be back. So we base our arguments on those issues, concern, and in addition to that, we had the have some figure that here we can for now. Was close to 1,000 acnes in the KMTR. And these acnes carriage have been operating on the JUTC route with two illegal operations. One, they operating illegally on the JUTC route, and two, they operating contrary to the terms and conditions of their license.
Yeah.
So when we approach Transport Authority and the JUTC, one of the things that into the submission is give our members a license that will allow them to operate legally on JUTC route and operate legally without being charged for colliery.
Yeah.
The Transport Authority explained to us the license that they are legally allowed to give by law. And when we look at those licenses, contract carriage, stage carriage, apnea, route, I think there's another one. But whatever they were, only route would suit our members. And so we sent the first submission to JUTC. We were asking for 27 routes. Well, JUTC responded that they could only give up 16 of the 27. And 5 of those 16 were not suitable for taxis.
Yeah.
So they gave 5 routes to buses and 11 to taxis, that within the first. Now, we went back to the drawing board and another submission of 15 routes. And out of the 15, JUTC was willing to give us 12. The 3 that we did not get is Spanish Town to Harper Tree, Spanish Town to Crossroads, and Spanish Town to New Kingston.
Yeah.
And what JUTC told us is that those routes were, one, their prime route.
Yeah, very lucrative routes. Yeah.
Those routes were too long. Those routes would have been too long for taxi purpose.
Yeah.
So the discussion started 30 years ago.
Yeah.
We intensified it over the last 3 years.
Let me ask you this, Lorraine Finnegan.
We are so
happy. Let me ask you this, Lorraine Finnegan. Just to put in context the allowance that the way rather that you're now legally allowed to operate. I've been told, and you can tell me if this is false, that the same taxi that I would take in my early years as a university student from Halfway Tree up to Papine, I'm being told that the taxis were never licensed to service that route. And you know the tens of thousands of students that those taxis move from Halfway Tree to Papine over time. And you know that, so is the situation now that those taxis can now legally service a route that they had been servicing anyway, but doing so contrary to their road license and contrary to how they should have been moving passengers in that route, on that route in the corporate area. Is that true?
That is true, exactly the way you say. So when they were taking you illegally in terms of their license.
Right.
And 2, the route that they told them to take you was JUTC routes.
Right.
So no other PPV vehicles are allowed to travel on those roads the way the ACNIs were.
Yeah, but practically.
Now, the ACNIs license allowed them.
Yeah, but practically though.
The license allowed them.
But practically, Lorraine Finnegan, practically, clearly the JUTC never had and does not have the capacity to transport all people going from Halfway Tree to Papine by themselves. So clearly there is need for supplemental transport, which is where your members came in to fill the breach and now they are legally allowed to do same. Is that correct?
You're correct. It seems to me that you are a part of the public transportation sector because you're telling us just as how it is.
No, I just informed myself, sir. Stick a pin right there. So Michael Phillips, where we are now with this streamlining and ironing out of the kinks that made honest men and women who were providing a service to the public, and the service badly needed because of the JUTC's lack of capacity. These transport operators, these key stakeholders, businessmen as you've called them, are saying that it is the right move. I just wanted to be clear to the public. You are not saying it's the wrong move.
No, we have never said that it was a wrong move, because as I've said before, George, that even in our proposal, is looking at how it is that we can lot up Kingston into a franchising system using private operators like Mr. Finnegan and others. So that's not the issue. As I always have said, that they will have to be a part of a larger transport system. Now, when we look at the same routes that they will be operating on JUTC routes, JUTC offers a subsidized fare to passengers, especially children, the elderly, and the disabled community. Will those operators be offering the same fare structure to those groups that I just mentioned?
Yeah.
And is there going to be adequate parking? There's not. Let's use Papine that George you know of when you went to university. There is not adequate parking in many of the centers that we speak of, that are termination points, to facilitate even these route taxes. That has been part of the issue, Mr. Finnegan, why the license have not been able to be issued a few months ago. Because there is no parking also. But what is the overall plan for the JUTC? And that is the big question. It is not if they should be converted into route or not. I said the minister announced a hybrid system that the JUTC buses will be running on the same routes, especially that they're offering these route taxi, these route license to. So, there's so many ambiguity in the minister's presentation also. And that's why we want clarity. So that not only for Minister Finnegan, but the traveling public understands also.
Hear you on that. Michael, what I'm going to do is when after the holiday blows off and we get you of course you are focusing on serious business, but we'll invite you to speak to what will be the plan that you will implement if your party is successful, you get in to government, how you would treat with the comprehensive plan to link all of the various aspects to make it a cogent whole that makes sense where transport in the KMTR is concerned. And Lorraine Finnegan, fret not, as a primary stakeholder, you will be invited to the discussion. But gentlemen, that's all the time I have on this Holy Thursday. I wish you all the best and I appreciate your time.
Same to you and your visitors, Mr. Finnegan. A blessed one to you.
Thank you very much. Lorraine Finnegan there, representing the All Voice Transport Group, and Michael Phillips, he's the opposition spokesman on transport. He's also the Member of Parliament for North West Manchester. That's the time we have. So enjoy your bun and cheese or your bun and fish. Yeah, bun and fried fish is very good too, Yeah. All right, the news at 7 comes up next.
Two musical dance. They do. Straight. The line of response to a big part of my career. Hot in the club. Bring back the big tune one more time.
The Immaculate Girls came up with the name Renaissance.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's something I wonder it's so hard to spell.
Man, I said, jail there in a youth, I want to you.
You know what? Singer?
You know how long we want a radio?
Vegi, why do you think it was a good idea for going to Gino Jennings' church?
Remember, see, beat me on that, you know.
No, but it's a funny clip, me beat
know, man, but
we are talking about in reality.
The Cut, brought to you by Flow.
First, me admit this. Look, I know now. Breaking news.
We are diving into the world of creativity. And if you come here well dressed, we can help you work.
You can live none, so, feel it on.
We are going to be having an amazing time with this boss lady in her corner office this week. Hold on, me a sweat.
I'm going to put English truck, then I come with AC. You know, so you're not going to bantan me thing. You're not bantan me thing.
Me a sweat, I know you must come, murder.
People, are you ready? Fit Fire has joined the Fet. If you missed it on the ground, catch it on the TV. Shani Fitness brings her high-energy, dance-filled workout series, Fit Fire, to a TV near you. Join her and her team as they continue to get you fit for the Fet this season. Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. on CVM TV. Fit for Fet, the ultimate workout series, getting you ready for the road. Powered by CVM TV.